Owl House is definitely one of Disney Channel's most memorable TV shows, and in this video, I will tell you the entire story of Owl House. There are 3 seasons in this series, and I'll tell you all the seasons in detail from start to end. Our story begins in the world of humans, and we meet our main character, Luz. Luz is a very imaginative and creative girl. She also has a great interest in magic. However, she has some problems at school because of this obsession. Despite her good intentions, her clumsiness is a constant problem, and she often clashes with the school principal. Her mother, Camila, thinking that Luz needs to normalize, enrolls her in a summer camp. Although Luz does not want to go to this camp, she's forced to go by her mother's decision. While waiting for the bus to arrive to go to the summer camp, Luz decides to look for the book she threw away. Just then, she realizes that an owl has kidnapped her. The owl enters an abandoned house where a portal opens. As the owl enters through the portal, Luz, overcome by curiosity, enters the portal after it. As you can imagine, Luz finds herself in a world completely different from the human world. While trying to save her book from a witch named Eda, Luz wants to go back to her world, but she cannot go back because the portal is closed. Luz has arrived in another dimension called the Boiling Isles. Witches and various creatures live in this world. Since the witch Eda is a wanted criminal, they pursue her, and Luz escapes with her. Eda takes Luz to the Owl House. Eda and a little creature named King live in this house. The King is Eda's assistant, and in the following chapters, he will become Eda's adopted son, as well as Luz's best friend. King thinks he's the king of demons, and he is my favorite character. So, who's your favorite Owl House character? Please share in the comments. Hooty is a house demon attached to the door of the Owl House. He serves as the guardian of the house and is actually the house itself. Hooty's origins are currently unknown. He supposedly had a mother, but it is not known what happened to her or if she's still alive. Luz asks Eda if she can stay with her to become a witch apprentice. Eda the owl later gives Luz a task, and Luz fights the creatures that try to capture Eda. After defeating the manager creature, they win the battle. Eda realizes Luz's potential and agrees to teach her magic in return for Luz's desire to learn magic. Thus, Luz does not return to the human world and starts her magic training. In the next episode, Luz feels bad after being annoyed by Eda's method of teaching magic and decides to go to Hexside Academy to learn magic. There, she meets a witch student who cannot control her magical abominations and decides to help her. This creature's name is Willow. Luz, disguised as an abomination, shows the principal that Willow can control her powers and helps Willow. However, another student named Amity suspects them. Meanwhile, Eda thinks that Luz has run away because she's nowhere to be seen. However, Luz is actually in Hexside at that time. Eda realizes that Luz is in Hexside and feels sad for losing her student. Eventually, Amity catches Luz and Willow and tells the principal. The principal tries to capture them but is unsuccessful. Willow stops the principal by actually controlling her powers this time. Seeing this, the principal is very impressed and gives up on catching them. However, Luz is expelled from Hexside Academy. They then return to Eda, and the episode ends with a happy ending. In the next episode, Luz asks Eda to teach her magic. Eda finally agrees and tries to teach Luz the magic of light. However, Eda is exhausted and falls asleep in the process. Meanwhile, King explains the source of magic to Luz. It comes from a potion bottle and tells her that she can gain magical powers if she drinks this potion. However, Luz breaks this bottle and runs into a terrible black shadow creature. This creature even attacks Hooty, the guardian of the Owl House. King and Luz decide to destroy this creature, but then they realize the creature is actually Eda. It turns out that Eda needs this potion to control her curse. Luz realizes that Eda is intolerant to light and eventually learns to cast light spells. With the help of King, she casts a great light spell and breaks the curse. Eda explains that she was cursed as a child and that she must drink the potion to control this curse. The episode ends here. In the next episode, Luz, Eda, and King learn that there's a witch fair and decide to go. Eda initially doesn't want to go, but at Luz's insistence, she agrees to attend. Luz enjoys visiting the fair, but after a while, a special guest, Lilith, appears. Lilith is Eda's sister, and Eda's not happy to see her, so she walks away. Meanwhile, Luz sees Amity and tries to talk to her, but Amity doesn't want to, and even bullies King. Luz gets angry and challenges Amity to a witch duel. While Eda is talking to her sister Lilith, Luz tells her about the duel, and Eda starts preparing Luz for the duel. The duel between Luz and Amity begins, but eventually everyone realizes that they're both cheating, because Eda and Lilith are helping their students to cheat in the duel. This leads to a fight between the sisters. However, Luz makes an effort to reconcile with Amity, and eventually they both make up. Fight between Eda and Lilith also ends smoothly, and Eda leaves. In our next episode, Luz is happy and excited to have joined Hexside Academy, and now wants to learn her second spell. Amity goes to a market to buy a book, where she realizes that they will make fun of her if she doesn't know 2 spells. So she lies that she knows 2 spells. Luz then runs to Eda to teach her another spell. Eda takes Luz to the witch arena to teach her a new spell, where Luz meets Amity and her siblings. Amity mocks Luz. This disappoints Luz. Later, Luz disturbs an ice monster by accidentally releasing fire from the wand. The monster attacks and captures them, but Luz learns a new ice spell, and together they defeat the monster. The episode ends with Luz happy that she can now be in the same class as Amity. The next episode begins with Luz worried about the entrance exam and wanting to perform better than she did at her old school. Eda remains calm and tells Luz not to worry and to be encouraged to make a good impression. In the end, Luz passes the exam and Amity, Gus, and Willow congratulate her. Principal Bump throws Luz into the potions course because the principal wants to keep her in detention for mixing magic. Luz makes new friends, Viney, Gerbo, and Barkus, who teach her new secrets to learn magic, but a misunderstanding causes their friendship to break down. Meanwhile, Principal Bump tests the students, including Amity, Amelia, and other witches, to check their magic. However, a monster named Basil appears and takes their magic. Together, Luz, Gus, and Willow defeat Basil and restore the magic. Principal Bump is so impressed with Luz that he allows her to study in more than one department at the academy as a reward. In the next episode, Amity and her friend Basha are celebrating Sarah's friend's birthday party. Willow and Luz see them together, and Willow finds it strange that they're dealing with a human. Later, through Willow, we learn that Amity and Willow were once best friends. Through magic, Amity sees Willow's memories and accidentally destroys them, turning her into a stupid human. Amity and Luz enter Willow's mind to fix the mess they created and make her normal again. There, Luz and Amity encounter a pink monster similar in color to Flames, and another monster called Inner Willow who retains her memories. Inner Willow allows them to see Willow's difficult past, which upsets Amity. Amity promises never to be mean or bully Willow again. In the end, Willow becomes normal again and no one bullies her. In the next episode, as Luz practices her new spell, she's also confused about whether she should tell her mother about this world. Her mother texts her asking about camp life at school, but Luz doesn't know how to answer. Later at Hexside Academy, she realizes that today's a little different, and Willow tells her about Grom. Grom is actually the ball event in the Boiling Isles. Amity is chosen as the Grom Queen, but Amity's not happy about it and tells Luz why she's unhappy. Those who become Grom Queen have to fight a monster called a Grom. Luz encourages Amity and decides to take her place as Grom Queen to help her friend. They train to fight Grom. Eventually, Grom appears and has the ability to take the shape of their greatest fear. He takes the form of Luz's mother and scares Luz. The monster escapes and Luz chases after it. Eda arrives and tries to help Luz. In the end, Amity and Luz together defeat Grom by dancing a magical ballroom dance. The episode ends with Luz returning to the Owl House and texting her mother that she's fine at camp. As we approach the season finale, Lilith takes orders from Kikimora, a former aide to Emperor Belos, who relays his orders to other followers in and out of the Emperor's coven. Kikimora tells Lilith to capture her sister Eda. Lilith agrees and sets out to raid the Owl House, but Hooty intervenes and humiliates Lilith. But suddenly Eda's curse appears and drives her mad. She takes many bottles of potions to return to her normal form. Eda confesses that her curse is getting worse and that she has to take a lot of potions to stay normal. Worried about her mentor, Luz goes to school where she learns about a trip to the Emperor's castle. While there, she learns that she can buy a magical hat called the Healing Hat that can cure any disease and remove any curse. Willow tells Luz that Emperor Belos is the most powerful witch. When they arrive at the castle, Kikimora leads the students and tells them about the past stories and Emperor Belos. The season finale begins with King recounting the history of Emperor Belos and the Boiling Isles. They decide to save Eda no matter how powerful the Emperor is. Meanwhile, Eda's being tortured by Belos. Luz learns of Eda's location after defeating Warden Wrath. When she finally reaches Eda's cell room, she finds her in a cage. Eda gives her the key to the portal and tells her to return to her world. When Lilith arrives, Luz fights with Lilith for what she did, but accidentally pushes her into the portal. In the human realm, Lilith tells Luz about her past, how Eda and Lilith used to be best friends, and why Lilith cursed Eda. Luz and King team up with Lilith, who wants to save her sister, and after a series of turmoil and battles, Eda is rescued and escapes from prison with Lilith. Luz and King normalize after sharing their sister's suffering from the spell, but now Lilith and Eda are unable to use their magic. However, Luz promises to teach her magic in her own way. The episode ends with Emperor Belos telling Kikimora that he's worried and that one of his bodyguards will look after them. In our first episode, a week and a half after Luz destroys the gate, she finds herself grappling with the consequences of the event with Eda, Lilith, and King. The group is struggling financially as Eda and Lilith's powers are gone. Luz takes up bounty hunting to make ends meet. Luz sets her sights on a high-value prize, our Selkidamus, a sea creature that is causing chaos in the region. region. In their quest to capture the Selkie-damas, the group faces various challenges. Luz blames herself for the loss of Eda's powers and out of this guilt wants to win the grand prize. Things take a dramatic turn when Luz encounters the Golden Guardian, Emperor Belos' right-hand man. It results in a difficult situation where Luz has to face Selkie-damas alone, but Luz and Eda find a way to solve it non-violently through teamwork. Meanwhile, Lilith embarks on her own journey to gather ingredients for a potion. Meanwhile, Lilith and Hooty strengthen their hunger. The episode begins with a flashback in which young Eda takes shelter in a temple from the boiling rain in an unknown location. Once inside, she hears something in the shadows and asks it to reveal itself. But as she approaches it, the screen goes black. In the present, Luz and Lilith are in the Owl House researching glyph combinations for new spells. King tries to get Luz's attention but fails. Frustrated at being ignored, King asserts his authority as King of Demons. Lilith counters with the historical knowledge that before Emperor Belos, demons were never united under a single ruler. To prove himself, King proposes a visit to his castle and everyone reluctantly agrees. During their journey, they come across an undiscovered island hidden in the Sound, which surprises Lilith and makes King believe that his castle is there. Inside, they discover a ruined tower with strange symbols and carvings that resemble King's stories. As they explore, they encounter a mysterious creature that attacks them. Eda comes to their rescue and reveals that she recognized the creature from years ago when she found King on the island. In a flashback, Eda tells how she found King in the tower as a small creature and thought he was a pet. Over time, because of Eda's comments, King believed himself to be a demon lord and fantasized about power and rulership. Later, Eda tells the king the truth about his past, causing him to run away in disbelief. Feeling guilty, the group searches for King and reconciles with him. When they return to the tower, King regains his memories. King realizes that he's inside an egg in the tower's chamber and hears a roar, possibly signaling the presence of his father. The creature, Jean-Luc, is his guardian, and they manage to take control of it. When they return to the Owl House, Luz reassures King that he's important to her, whatever his title. In the next episode, Emperor Belos summons the Coven leaders and reveals his plan for the Day of Unity, when the demon and human realms will unite. During the meeting, however, Belos is transformed into a monster due to a lack of magical energy. His right-hand man, the Golden Guard, offers to help by creating more magic using his knowledge of wild magic, but Belos warns him against it. Kikimora overhears this conversation and begins to formulate a plan. It is Palisman pairing day in Hexside, but Luz has a hard time finding a palisman due to her ambitious goals. She later finds a palisman in her bag, but it's not hers. The Golden Guards on duty kidnap her and escape by airship. Kikimora, who wants the palismans for her own gain, band together to get them back. During their escape, Luz and the Golden Guard, later revealed to be named Hunter, form a friendship based on their experiences and ideals. They successfully rescue the palisman and return to Hexside. Hunter faces backlash for his actions, but he's determined to prove his growing independence from Belos by winning a palisman. Meanwhile, Hooty decides to help his friends with their problems. First, Hooty tries to help King discover his demon kind. Hooty swallows King and takes him to the castle, where he helps him find the demon species. After Hooty's attempt, King feels even sadder because he still cannot discover the demon kind. However, he learns that he has a power. Hooty feels very sad, thinking that he cannot help. Because Hooty puts sleeping powder in the cookies, Eda is forced to sleep and starts dreaming. She confronts her past, including the incident where she accidentally attacked her father. She also dreams about a character called the Collector. This character will appear in a lot of future episodes. Because of this dream, Eda turns into the Owl Monster. But this time there's a difference. Eda has gained a new form, a better form. But still, Hooty is upset, thinking that he's done her a disservice. Hooty wants to help Luz this time and aims to help her express her feelings for Amity. He sets up a romantic love tunnel, but this only causes embarrassment and misunderstanding between Luz and Amity. Luz breaks the whole tunnel of love, and Amity is upset because of it. Hooty feels sad that he can't help this time and tries to escape from the Owl House. Eda says that Luz and Amity must make up to stop Hooty. Luz declares her love to Amity, and they finally become partners. Hooty calms down because of this, and everyone is happy. At the end of the episode, Hooty sends a letter to Lilith, but at that moment, someone who's supposed to be one of King's kind arrives and leaves a letter for King. However, Hooty eats the letter like a maniac, and that's how the episode ends. Emperor Belos tries to open a gateway to the human realm, but none of the keys work, because Titan blood is required. So, Emperor Belos sends Kikimora to find Titan blood. Hearing this, Hunter is upset that he can't go himself, and wants to find it before Kikimora does. Meanwhile, Amity takes over the security of the Owl House because Luz is sick. Despite being sick, Luz uses a crystal ball to warn her friends of danger. Amity, Eda, King, and Hunter embark on an adventure to find Titan's blood. Amity receives a confusing message from Luz, and Hunter interprets it to mean that if Amity doesn't find the blood, their relationship will end. So Amity struggles to find the blood. The group faces danger in the mining tunnels with Kikimora chasing them. Amity, Hunter, and Eda face difficult situations at the lake, and Hunter betrays Amity and escapes. Eda eventually saves them by transforming back into Eda Harpy, and in the end, Hunter is desperate to find the Titan's blood. A magical duel for the key takes place between Amity and Hunter. Hunter wins the duel and asks Amity for the key because it contains Titan's blood. Amity is forced to give him the key. When they return to the Owl House, we realize that Amity broke the key when she gave it to him, and most of the Titan's blood is gone. The episode ends with Hunter coming to a slightly better side. In the next episode, when Luz is trying to figure out how to build the portal door to the human realm, she comes across the name The Collector in Philip's video. She thinks that the Collector can make a portal door. Philip decides to travel through time because he lived a long time ago, and Luz and Lilith discover special puddles called time pools that can take them to different times. But things get difficult when they discover that Philip has darker plans. Philip tricks Lilith into thinking that the Collector's behind the door, and when she opens it, the monster attacks her. Lilith uses her magical skills to overcome the monster and, with her experience, defeats it despite Philip's manipulations. They put Philip in his place and leave. At the end of the episode, however, we see that Philip is actually Emperor Belos, who finally offers his cooperation to the Collector. In the next episode, Luz and Hunter find themselves trapped in the mind of Emperor Belos and discover dark secrets about him. The episode begins with Luz waking up in a room full of Emperor Belos' names. Hunter blames Luz for them ending up there. Later, they begin to wander through Emperor Belos' memories, and Hunter realizes that Belos is not a good person, and that he manipulates everyone. In this episode, we also see Belos talking to the Collector. When Hunter realizes that Belos is going behind his back, he doesn't want to be around him anymore. But then Belos shows up and corners them. Hunter disappears, and Belos shows Luz that he's Philip and that he's here because he helped her. Luz doesn't want to believe it and thinks that this is the end. But at that moment, Hunter reappears and saves Luz. Later, Eda breaks Luz out of there with spells. At the end of the episode, Hunter cannot accept this betrayal and runs away. In another episode, in the kitchen of the Owl House, King dreams that his demon family is visiting him. However, we realize that it was a dream when King wakes up, and Eda tells him that Luz is ready to reveal what's going on in Belos' mind. Luz shares her guilt for unknowingly helping Belos, but refuses to flee and decides to prevent Belos from using his magic during Unity Day. Lilith arrives and learns of the situation. A letter she writes to King leads to a plan to enlist the help of a warrior clan to defeat Belos. Luz, King, and Hootie sail to the clan's location and encounter a mysterious island. Impressed by King's skull, Tarek invites him to join the Titan Hunters. Tarek may be remembered for leaving a letter in previous episodes. While King enjoys his time with the clan, Luz and Hootie meet Bill, who reveals his true identity as a Titan disguised as a demon. However, they realize that this is actually an evil place, that the clan worships the Collector, and that they want to free the Great Hunter by sacrificing King, who has the Titan's traits. Luz and Hootie rescue King from the ceremony and reveal to him his true nature as a Titan. Enraged at their obstruction, Bill attacks them, but they manage to escape through a portal. When they return to the Owl House, the house is surrounded by an army of assembly scouts preparing to arrest Luz and her friends, and the episode ends there. In the land in between, the king has an exciting dream in which he hears about the Collector's Day of Unity. However, when they return to the Boiling Isles, Luz wakes him up. They learn that the Emperor is wanted by the Assembly and that the House of Owls has been taken over by the Assembly Watchers. Eda and Lilith manage to escape and hide in a cave. There, they discuss King's true nature as a Titan and the failure of the plan to stop Belos. Eda worries about the safety of Luz and King and decides to tell Luz about the lack of a plan. She asks what they want to do, and Luz wants to steal King's toy back from the Coven, while King wants to be left alone to digest everything. Luz and Eda head to Bonesboro and sneak past the busy Coven scouts. Meanwhile, King finds himself island hopping and meets Steve, a runaway house scout. Eda contacts Rain for help, but Luz overhears and feels abandoned. She tries to return to the camp, but Eda stops her and explains that she never had a plan. The Coven scouts capture them and try to petrify Luz to take her to the Emperor, but they're rescued along with the others by Rain, Darius, and Eberwolf. They have a plan to thwart Belos' draining spell and the Day of Unity. In their hiding place, Eda gives Luz the Palistrum tree to carve her palisman and encourages her to embrace her powers. In the next episode, Emperor Belos' plans to use a communication spell to destroy all life on the Boiling Isles. Belos makes final preparations for the Day of Unity. Luz and Amity become closer for the first time and have a romantic moment. Meanwhile, the group, led by Eda and Rain, plan to break the spell to stop Belos. Luz, Amity, and their friends infiltrate Blight Manor to stop the production of abominations used for security during Unity Day. At Blight Manor, Luz and her friends rescue Amity and confront Odalia, who supports Belos' plan. Odalia is Amity's mother, but Amity's father, Alador, opposes Odalia and tries to protect the children. Meanwhile, Luz is kidnapped by Kikimora. In this episode, the day of Unity has finally arrived. King has a dream in which he overhears a conversation between the Collector and Emperor Belos. The Collector has become suspicious of Belos and complains about being trapped in the glass. Belos says that he will free him from there. Amity, Alador, Hunter, and the group of Palismans head there, thinking that Luz is in charge of Titan, but eventually they take a break, enjoy a meal, and their friendship grows stronger. As the voyage progresses, Hunter begins to trust the others more and more, allowing them to lead the ship. Meanwhile, all the witches in the Boiling Isles gather for Unity Day, organized by Emperor Belos. Belos plans to cast a powerful draining spell that will drain magical energy from every witch with a seal, including the heads of the council. An eclipse is approaching, and when it happens, the drain spell will be unleashed. Eda, Rain, and their allies devise a plan to thwart the draining spell and Belos' destructive intentions. Luz joins the witch council disguised as Rain and will cut the power during the eclipse. Meanwhile, instead of pulling the Collector out of the window, Belos betrays him and throws him off the bridge. As Unity Day continues, Belos begins a drain spell, drawing magical energy from the gathered witches. As the magic is drained, the situation becomes chaotic and the witches begin to die of nervousness. Kikimora brings Luz, whom she captured, to Belos and asks to be his right-hand woman, but Belos betrays her and expels her. In a bold move, Luz confronts Belos directly and they have an epic battle. Luz offers Belos a deal, pretending to give up in exchange for forgiving everyone. However, Luz cleverly tricks Belos and uses a secret branding gauntlet to reverse this situation and stop the consuming spell. In his rage, Belos turns into a monster and starts chasing Luz. He catches him, but at the last moment, Luz's friends catch up and they too begin to fight Belos. Meanwhile, King sees Kikimora and she tells him that only the Collector can stop Belos. Belos takes King to the Collector for revenge. King tricks the Collector by telling him that there's a game called Owl House and that it's a lot of fun, and makes a deal with him and sets him free. The result is an extraordinary power. Before Belos can strike his final blow, the Collector stops him and destroys Belos in one fell swoop. He also stops the consuming spell completely and everyone is saved. But the Collector, not being a kind-hearted person, becomes a threat to the entire Boiling Isles and starts destroying everything. So the group plans to leave through the portal to the human realm that Belos built. However, Luz does not want to leave Eda there. King makes a sacrifice and sends them to the human realm while he remains inside. Meanwhile, Belos' liquid flows on Hunter, so we know that Belos is not dead. In the final scene, Luz is returned to her mother's house, and here, the second season ends. In our first episode, King, Luz, Amity, Gus, Willow, and Hunter find themselves in Luz's house after being forcibly ripped from the demon realm. Luz tearfully reunites with her mother Camilla, while her friends help with chores and provide support. Luz and Hunter have a private conversation in which Luz expresses her fear of the others finding out that Luz is unwittingly involved in Belos' plans. Hunter shares his concern about Belos' true identity as a clone of a potential witch hunter partner. The others inform Camilla and V about recent events. In the following weeks, Luz and her friends make numerous failed attempts to reopen the gateway to the demon realm. Luz finally reveals to her mother that she is bisexual and that she is romantically involved with Amity. Camilla accepts and supports this. Fascinated by the oddities of the human realm, such as the rain that does not boil, the group of witches immerse themselves in various activities and enjoy their time together. In late October, while Luz is at school and struggling with her studies, Amity suggests exploring the town for potential clues about the portal reopening. They accidentally cause chaos in a magic shop and library and end up at the Gravesfield Historical Society. Here, they meet Masha and learn of a secret location marked on a map they discovered earlier. They decipher the map's clues and realize that it leads to the Titan's blood, the potential key to reopening the portal. As the group prepares for Halloween and plans to reveal their discovery to Luz, ominous signs of Belos' presence begin to appear. Hunter, who has stayed behind to change his costume, stumbles upon a strange substance that hints at Belos' proximity. Unbeknownst to him, Belos' influence begins to affect Hunter, leading to a confrontation. Under Belos' control, the night takes a dark turn as Hunter engages in a fierce battle with Luz. The conflict escalates as Belos' true intentions and Luz's unintentional role in helping him are revealed. Despite Hunter's efforts to resist Belos, the situation becomes more dire. In the aftermath, as Hunter struggles to recover from his ordeal, the group prepares to embark on a new journey. Camilla surprises everyone by deciding to go with them to the demon realm, showing her unwavering support for Luz and her friends. Together, they pass through the portal. Season 3, Episode 2. King finds himself confronted by the Collector to explain the rules of the Owl House game. Despite Lilith and Hootie's efforts to intervene, the Collector turns them into puppets and sends them to the House of Archives, a structure floating above Titan's skull. Eda in her harpy form, tries to save King, but her curse weakens her. The Collector is intrigued by King's game offer and decides to join his game. However, the curse possesses Eda, turning her into the Owl Beast and attacking the Collector. The group discovers that the Boiling Isles have changed drastically under the Collector's influence, with vibrant and colorful transformations everywhere. They discover the Archive House, a magical floating fortress on Titan's skull. The group faces various challenges and concerns. Hunter mourns the loss of his palisman Flapjack and focuses on finding Belos. Amity, Gus, and Willow are worried about their families, and Luz, ashamed of recent events, is determined to fulfill her promise and leave the islands with her mother once everyone is safe. Amidst the chaos, the group encounters the Collector playing with puppets in Bonesboro, a desolate place where most of the inhabitants have now been turned into puppets. Elsewhere, weakened and possessed by Eda's curse, Belos seeks refuge in his old bunker. He absorbs Greenwalker's body to heal, and eventually takes over Rain's body to infiltrate the Collector's domain and travel to the Archive House. At the Archive House, the Collector and King interact with Odalia and inspect the puppets, including Eda and the heads of the Assembly. King tries to convince the Collector of the danger of his games, but the Collector does not care about the deaths and says that he can fix the dead back like toys. The group reunites and prepares to face the Collector and Belos with Hunter's newfound abilities. Ultimately, the group confronts Kikimora and Belos, backed by the students of Exide. They manage to overcome their enemies and cast a teleportation spell to reach the Titan's skull. Luz's palisman is fully formed and strengthens the group's resolve, but the Collector and Belos observe them, setting the stage for a new game and more challenges. We have come to the final episode of the series. The next episode begins with everyone being taken prisoner by the Collector. Luz, Eda, and King awaken from unconsciousness and are finally reunited, but the Collector makes them play his games and then causes great chaos. He finally gets tired, and Luz tells him that he can't do this forever. The Collector tells her about his past and says that all he wants is a true and loyal friend who will never betray him, like King, Belos, and his brothers. He explains that the Titan has imprisoned him. Luz, King, and Eda want to be friends with the Collector, but at that moment, Belos, who controls Rain's body, reaches the Titan's heart. Rain tries to stop him but fails, and Belos merges with the Titan's heart and starts the Great Destruction. As Luz tells the Collector how they became friends, the Collector hears a strange sound and realizes that it's coming from inside the Titan's eye. They immediately go there, and there they see Belos. Belos is now in full power and destroying all the Boiling Isles. The Collector tries to use the power of love he learned from Luz on Belos, but it doesn't work, and Belos attacks the Collector. But Luz intervenes and prevents the attack. Then mold begins to grow on Luz, and she eventually dies. Luz's spirit flies through the air and goes to everyone. At first, everyone doesn't believe that she's dead, but then Eda and King lose control and start attacking Belos in a frenzy. Even though we think Luz is dead, she remains in purgatory where she meets the Titan. Titan is King's father and wants to give Luz his powers before he himself is destroyed, because Luz has been so good to King. After the Titan gives her some of his power, he disappears. Meanwhile, we see that even the Collector's powers are diminished. Just when it looks like Belos is about to be defeated, Luz appears and is now a Titan. She begins to breathe life back into everything with her power. With the help of King, she tries to defeat Belos with different forms of magic. Eventually, they reach his heart and rip Belos out of there. The Boiling Isles are saved from destruction, and just when everything is back to normal, Belos reappears disguised as Philip and tries to trick Luz. This time, however, Luz is not fooled by these excuses, and they end up actually killing Belos. Luz then returns to her normal self by removing the memory of the Titan inside her. Everyone is happy now, and Luz returns to the human world. Years later, on her birthday, she returns to the Boiling Isles where everyone throws her a birthday party. As a final surprise, King announces that the Collector is in the area and wants to do something special for Luz. The Collector puts on a light show for Luz and her friends to watch. At that moment, everyone says goodbye to the audience, and the series ends. I told you the entire Owl House story. It took me 4 days to make this video, so if this video gets 1,000 likes, I will continue to make cartoon recaps. If you like my videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in other videos. Bye!